Hi, it's Sue from Aging Joyfully. As you get older, it is sometimes more and more challenging to remain joyful. Yesterday, Steve and I went to the DMV and got a handicap plate for my car, as well as a placard for his car or any other car of anybody who might be driving me. Last week, I was diagnosed with a neurological condition that is only going to be getting worse as I age. I had mixed feelings with this diagnosis. I was relieved after 15 years of going to doctors to finally get the correct diagnosis. Only 1% of the population has this condition, which I'm going to name in a future video. Once I tell the symptoms, I will get into what it is. I was relieved to finally get an answer that yes, I do have this, but at the same time, I am mourning the loss of my abilities, that things that are difficult are walking, sometimes eating. In the future, if it gets very serious, it's my brain stem is affected, so it could affect breathing, any number of things. I'm still processing. It's a lot to process. I think when anyone gets a diagnosis like this, it takes a minute. It will take a minute. I read somewhere online, it said, you are the same person you were before the diagnosis. You just have more information now. That's true. I've been dealing with this for at least 10 to 15 years. I've had it my entire life, but it did get worse originally with menopause. Today I'm just talking about getting that disability plate. I'm the last person who would ever want to do something like that. I did fall twice last year, and the second fall was more serious than the first one. I am getting more tired. I think just focusing on balancing when your brain has an issue with balancing, I think that takes a lot more energy, and that would make you more tired. I will not abuse it. It's not even just the parking close, but the spaces are wider, and now that I'm using a cane, it is a little more challenging to get out between two tightly packed cars with the door being wide and the cane. Falls can be deadly. They can be extremely dangerous. That's part of the reason why my condition probably got to where it is today. I fell as an 18-month-old toddler, fell down the steps and got a concussion. If I had not gotten that concussion, there's chances I could have had this condition and never even known it. Concussions and whiplash make this condition quite a bit worse. So we went to the DMV, and you have to get a signed notarized paper from your doctor to get a handicap, or I think today they call it disabled plate. I don't know the correct term today. I mean, in our day it was handicap, but they don't call it handicap anymore. I think it's a disability plate or something like that. There's certain requirements. Walking with a cane is one of the requirements that you are entitled to get a plate. So I got it now because I didn't want to wait until maybe I'm in a wheelchair or until I desperately need it and have to rush and try to get it. I always am a planner. I like to have it. Doesn't mean you have to use it, but it's better to have it and say, I mean, who knows what the future is going to hold, what the next year is going to hold. But I don't even know if I should say this. One sister called me. I have 7 siblings. And one sister did call me, and I told her we had just gotten the plate, and she actually gave me a hard time for getting it, that I needed to just tough it out. That really hurt. That really hurt. I mean, it's not like I would go get a disability plate if I didn't need it. I know some people would. I don't know what doctor would give somebody who's not entitled, who would sign this and notarize this paper. That's on the doctor. I had an MRI. They found this condition. The doctor signed it and notarized it and said that I was entitled under the laws in Georgia to get this plate. My sister told me that I need to just tough it out. I need to still walk and get exercise, because not walking will kill me. Will kill me. And I'm thinking, but falls could kill me too. So in addition to processing my new condition, having to justify using this plate is beyond my abilities. So I will work on the videos of the condition, as well as Steve and I wanted to work on videos on housing in America today. There's so much going on every day. It feels like a year goes by every day with everything in the news. When I mentioned to a friend that I had gotten this, she said, well, my mother used a walker and she took care of her. She died at 90. And she said, we could have gotten a plate, but my mother refused that plate. Now, we grew up in Chicago, and my friend grew up in Illinois, close to where we grew up. She said her mother had too much pride to get a disability plate, and she had a walker. And I thought, you know what? If I were taking her to the doctor, I'd say too bad, because like I said, the spaces are wider. Her risks of falling between 80 and 90 with the walker are really great. I would have said, I don't care what you say, we're getting a disability plate, because if you fall, and if you don't die, you could be bedridden, you could be paralyzed, you could be any number of things. The implications of the fall are far more serious. So she said they never got one of those plates when she was taking care of her mother. I think that's ridiculous. Now, I know my father never got one for my mother as well, but she didn't leave the house that often. She was sick the last 7 years she was falling. But I don't really know. I don't think, they only went out to go to the doctor, and it was probably a struggle. I wasn't there. I lived in a different state. So it's sad when the people who need it feel that they shouldn't get it. Or, I mean, I really had no problem getting it. I don't like to admit that I'm at this point, but once you fall, your body tells you you're at this point. So comment below, do you have a disability plate? You know somebody who has one? Do you think people shouldn't have them? Or do you think my sister's just a little bit, I don't even know the word for that, but I guess maybe denial. She doesn't want to admit, because she's older than me, that I'm struggling more than her. I had always thought my older siblings would die before me. Now I'm thinking I may actually be the first one. I was always the sickest of the 8, even though I'm the 7th child. I was always the sickest growing up. Now I know why, because I've had this condition my entire life. I just didn't know it. It got quite a bit worse when I hit menopause, and then has progressed. So let me know, and I'll try to do those videos, try to be more joyful. It's part of life. I will accept it. I will make accommodations, and I hope to continue to live. I've already looked at things that I may need in the future. My cousin is 60. She has cancer. She's had breast cancer for maybe 30 years off and on. She's in a motorized wheelchair. She bought a car with a ramp. She doesn't get out a lot, but she's gotten out. They took her to, I think, the zoo. And if it gets to that, and I'm able to still get out, I want to still live. I still want to do things. If I'm laying in bed every day for the next 10 years, yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun life. But I plan on doing things and doing what I can and enjoying life. So until I see you again, you take care of yourself and take it easy.